Hi crafty friends, hey, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming and I'm coming live today. Sorry, I gotta adjust this just a tad bit. I'm coming live today to introduce you guys to something that I found one night when I couldn't sleep and I needed to turn my mind off, and I was wandering around Pinterest, and they're called fabric snippets. So I'm going to make my version of a fabric snippet in the colors that I tend to use a lot around my house, which is pretty neutral. We're going to be using a bunch of vintage scraps of vintage lace, vintage doilies, vintage buttons, new lace, our canvas duck fabrics and pieces of painter's drop cloth, and a low temperature hot glue gun. So lots of different things, and then I'm going to show you an idea of what you can do with it. And you guys, I'm super excited about this. I'm most excited to see what you guys do with this idea once you take it and make it your own. Okay, so let me just say one thing. The vintage, well, they called them fabric snippets that I saw on Pinterest, were mostly being used in junk journals, which I had a lot of questions from you guys. What are junk journals? I have never made one, but they're like a kind of book that you make that has just little scraps and bits, and they're beautiful. And apparently fabric snippets are something that you use when you're making a junk journal. Also, I noticed that a lot of people use sewing machines to put these together, and since not everybody has a sewing machine or even knows how to hand sew, I have opted to use low temperature hot glue, and it works just fine, and I'm so excited. So let's hop right in. As you're jumping on, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle if you like this project, so that your friends can find out what our version of vintage fabric snippets are, and yeah, all that normal jazz. Okay, so I'm gonna come close and show you what I have been fooling around with this morning. Okay, this is the start, and I'm opting to make mine as a long strip because of the idea that I have to use this particular one. Okay, where am I? Let's see. It's so pretty in person. Oh my gosh. And we're gonna actually work on finishing the tail of this up, and then I'm gonna show you what we can use it on, and I will get close-up pictures. Also, I'll tell you what little bits and pieces I've used. And I think at some point in the next week or two, I'll probably put together a couple of little vintage fabric snippet care packages to send out to you guys, and I'll let you know more about that as we go along. Okay, so I'm building my vintage fabric snippet long piece on a thin, long strip of canvas duck fabric from Walmart, all right? And then I've just used little bits and pieces, let's get this out, of different things that I have hanging out here at my house. For example, some of this quilt batting. I've been using some pieces of ivory colored burlap ribbon. I've been using some various pieces of vintage, this was a vintage tablecloth, some lace bits, some vintage lace bits, more vintage lace bits, more and more vintage lace bits, some silk ribbon, painter's drop cloth, a few little pieces of the quilt that my friend Anne sent me. I mean, I just have a ton of little things over here. And then I have also used some new things like this lace that you can get at Hobby Lobby in the wedding section. And then this lace that you used to be able to get at Walmart. I don't think they carry it anymore, but you can find something similar somewhere else, okay? And then this lace, which I'm trying to remember, where did I get this? I probably got this at Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure I got it when it was on sale. And then buttons. And you can, I mean, you could take this idea and make it with bright colors, or you could just do it in the style that I'm doing it. Okay, so let's keep building. Right here, I have a round circle from Anne's quilt. I have a little piece of mauve colored silk ribbon, and then a piece of lace ribbon. Here's a piece of lace ribbon, some vintage buttons. Here's a piece of painter's drop cloth, a little piece of a doily, and another piece of vintage lace. And we're gonna add something to it. And I think this is the hard part, deciding what to use, because I do want to vary it up. So I'm going to use a piece of this, which is that really stiff lace from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to cut it in a square. And then, let me get my hot glue gun over here. All right, and you want things to be, you know, shifting directions and different shapes. And maybe I'm gonna cut this sort of in a little bit of a circle. Just eyeballing it, and you kind of get the hang of this as you're going along. So I want to know from you guys that are watching live or on replay, what you think would be some good things that we could do with this vintage lace snippet. I mean, I'm already thinking that you could make some beautiful, absolutely stunning jewelry pieces. Okay, so I just glued my lace on there. And I'm using my low temperature Surebond or low temperature hot glue gun. Okay, and then let's get, we could use this little bit of quilt, or this is the hardest part, deciding what to use next. Okay, this is a piece of a tablecloth. I think I'll cut a couple of little small squares. It's just very, very free form, this whole idea. Let's put a couple of those right there. Okay, and what you want to do is build your underneath layer first. Go a little ways with your underneath layer, and then you're going to come back and add the next layer, and if you want, a layer after that too. And your buttons and all your little doodads, whatever you want to add to it. Okay, I could use a piece of, I'm just looking here, a painter's drop cloth coming up here soon. So I'm going to just take a little piece that I've torn. Who knows when? I have a whole box of little scraps of stuff. I'm going to glue that right here. This is so cool. This is totally, totally, totally my kind of craft. I have been, every time I've been going to like some of those antique shows, I've been just picking up little pieces of lace, of just scraps that are not in great shape, but it really does not matter. In fact, the worse shape they're in, almost the sweeter they are on this kind of a project. I have so many different pieces. Okay, let's do something with this. Let's do something with this piece right here. And I'm not cutting anything up that wasn't already cut up before, just in case you're wondering. Or that wasn't already in bad shape. I'm not tearing things apart. Okay, so this little piece of lace has this little flower on it. And we'll figure out where to put that in just a second. Let's get a little piece of this quilt batting stuff. This came from Walmart. I'm gonna do a circle. You need something dark under here. I know I have a little bit of this vintage or this silk ribbon that I'm going to cut a circle in this too. And I'm just building a layer here. And then I love paper. So I just took one of the notebooks that I had hanging out around here, and that's too big. And I put a piece of the canvas stuck on it, and we're going to use some of this on that notebook. I like to write things down no matter what it is. I always like to have something by my bed so that when I have an idea or a to-do list or a prayer request or something that pops into my head in the nighttime, yeah, that'll be good. I can access it. And I can draw whatever I want to do, maybe do. I can, so I might put this one up in my bedroom. I'm just building a layer right here. And when you put that bright pink on there, well, it's not even bright, it's very muted, but it kind of stands out until you put the lace over the top of it, and then it just makes you be able to see the lace. See what I mean? Okay, and this is a piece of an old doily that, in case you didn't know this, let me find the rest of it. These things are usually held together with a little stitch. They were crocheted or whatever individually and then attached together. So if you just go to the very edges and do a little snip, most of the time you can pull these little pieces off without even hurting them. See, so I just detached that. Do I want to use that? Or do I have too many circles already? I feel like I have too many circles already. Okay. Let's cut up a bit of this. Oh no, I have a little mosquito or something buzzing around here in my craft room. I'm going to hold on to the little bits that I'm cutting off of this. right there. I don't know if you guys can see or not. I'm not really sure how to get this close enough. Let me try just really bringing my camera down. And I'll move a little bit closer. Though I have so much stuff on my desk right now. It's nutty. Okay, I think you can see a little bit better now. This is what I have going on currently. And I have a little bit of this quilt that is mostly cream, and then it has a little teeny bit of color on it. Let's put that like right here. Yeah, right there. That's perfect. So you could make this project with 100% new stuff if you wanted. That's cute. Let's do that. Or you could use all vintage little pieces. Pick a style, I think. Do you want it to be mostly neutral, or do you want it to be bright little pieces? And then you're going to want to get all your edges down really good. You're going to have glue strings for days. Days and days and days. Okay, I'm thinking this looks pretty cute right here so far. So let's find a couple little somethings. I got some buttons out. I'm not sure if any of these are the ones that I want to use. I want something teeny, teeny, teeny for right here. And I love buttons, these vintage ones, when they still have the string in them, especially. Ooh, this could be interesting. I don't know what these are, but there's two of them tied together. So let's cut that apart and see if we could use one of those here. Oh, we totally could. But I need my glasses on to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to see if I can possibly clip the back of it a little bit more flat. I may not be able to. No, I'm not going to be able to do that one. Okay, let's keep going. That's something little. Oh, here's a little one. This is as bad as me yesterday when I was digging through my wood buttons trying to fit. Oh, that's cute. Okay, we'll use that sweet little one right there. You guys see it? I'll hold it close in just a second. The secret, I think, with this project is just to vary it up as much as possible. I feel like we need something right here. Let's find a little bit of something. This is pretty on this piece. Do I still have my scrap? Let's use this little tiny something. So today is my first time making these, in case you're wondering. And yeah, that's why I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. I'm just figuring it out as I'm going along. There. I could do something up here just to give it some variety. This is a little button right here that is a piece of carved bone, and it still has the string on it where somebody cut it off of a garment, which I love that. Let's do it right here. All right, let me show you what we've got here. Bring this down closer even so that you can look. Okay, so this was the start of what I had going on. And I don't know if you're crooked or how you feel about that, but that's about the best I can do. So I started with a piece of that quilt batting and then a little lace, a button, some more lace, a piece of pretty silk ribbon, some lace, a piece of painter's drop cloth, a piece of Anne's quilt, some little teeny buttons, more lace, a tablecloth, lace, a ribbon. I mean, lots and lots of doilies. I thought this was pretty. This was this vintage, I don't know if it's a hanky or what, but it's silk. I'm definitely going to use this for some more projects. And I just did 3 layers of it right here. And then here's a piece of burlap ribbon with some silk ribbon, a little piece of lace, a button, a tablecloth, Anne's quilt, more lace, buttons. This was part of a doily. We just did that. Another piece of the quilt, more lace. I mean, you get the idea of it. Isn't it pretty? I mean, I don't know if there's something you could do with it. I was kind of thinking that it would be pretty, that you could make some pretty bracelets with almost any part of it. Seriously. Any piece of it would be just lovely. Ooh, that would be really pretty. But we can make something like that in the future. Today, we are going to just put this back up. Sorry if I'm making you seasick. I need to get a new gooseneck arm for my phone that I record with, and we need to be a little bit higher. Gosh. Okay. All right. Good enough. Okay, so like I told you, oh, now I'm completely tilted. Like I told you before I got started, we're going to use this on a notebook, and I'm going to show you what I did to my notebook. If I can find it. It's here somewhere. Okay, here is my notebook. And it's just one of those 3-ring kind of a deals. And I covered the front cover with a piece of the canvas duck fabric, and then I took a little piece of, it looks like silky rickrack. It was vintage, and I glued that along the edge. And my thought was that we could take our thing and just piece it out here and glue it on in different pieces. So let's try that, okay? And I'm gonna start out by just doing a little snip. And we'll glue this piece right here. To be a little bit shorter. We'll glue this piece right here in the center. What do you guys think about that? And then we're gonna add onto it. Okay, there is the start. What do you think? It is a shame to cut this up because it's so pretty, but the thing is I have oodles of all these supplies, so I could make 100 more of these, no big deal. Let me see how I want to go here. This piece to start right here. I can use this little teeny snippet somewhere else. Let's glue that on. A little bit closer. Oh yeah, that's gonna be pretty. And the reason why I did the journal in this fabric duck is because I wanted it to blend with the same fabric duck fabric that we created our vintage snippet on, if that makes sense. So, oops. I hope you guys like this idea as much as I do. I love all things vintage. I love knowing that every single little piece here has a story, a history, that it was owned, it was probably loved and appreciated by somebody, and it's not going to a landfill. It's going to be made into something that I will treasure. And so if you like that kind of, I'm just super sentimental in general, but if you like those kind of things, you definitely need to fiddle around, look around, start collecting little bits and pieces of doilies and lace, and it can be new too. You can mix in a little new, look at that. And just start experimenting. We're going to do this piece right here. Cut this a little bit shorter. and I could come back and fill in the whole entire thing. Oh my gosh, I definitely will. I'll probably have to make a little bit more, but that is adorable. So we had a great Christ in Crafting yesterday. Don't know if you got to see it. It was good, I thought. We talked about taking our thoughts captive and making them obedient to Christ. And we talked about, I showed you guys how to make these dimensional banners using some of this same canvas duck fabric and some little teeny pieces of flowers, and then a piece of brown craft paper and some of the brown buttons that I found at my local Walmart, and they both turned out adorable. So if you didn't get to see that, you might want to look in my videos here at DiyDreaming and pull that up and watch it. It was good. I'm just tacking down some of my pieces that, and I'm gonna have a lot of glue string pulling to do. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, what the heck? Let's just continue on, and I have this little bit. How do I want to do this? I need to decide. Like that. I might have to go and make another strip. Yeah, I think that's how that needs to go. I will definitely have to make another strip for right here, but tell me in the comments what you guys think. Is this the kind of project that you guys like to do here at DiyDreaming? Because I am seriously always trying to come up with different things, and obviously I'm always trying to do things that appeal to me, you know, because I'm the crafter here, but I want to have a huge variety, and I want to have things that will appeal to a large variety of different crafting styles. This is fabulous. So I'll just make one more strip for right here, but look at this. Isn't it pretty? Great gift idea. Yeah, and it costs nothing. I mean, seriously. If you go to antique markets, antique stores, you just want to be looking for those vendors that have little bits of vintage lace and buttons and that kind of thing. And then when you're at your Hobby Lobby, you want to be picking up things like this and this. And then when you're at your Walmart, you want to be picking up pieces of the canvas duck cloth. At your hardware store, you want to get little bits, well, get a sheet of the painter's drop cloth, those kind of things, and be looking for vintage buttons. You may already have some of those. It's absolutely adorable. So let me hold it up close. I wish I had enough strips right this second to finish it, but I will do that off camera. And I will, which way am I going? And I will share pictures of it. It's so pretty. I love this idea. I love the idea of just making these little bits, but I think it's a little more practical to do it on a long strip of fabric. I'm going to use this. It'll make exactly the size that I need. It'll just fit right there. I'll do that off camera, get it all ready to go, glue it on, take pictures, and get back to you. So, if you liked this project, I would love it if you would sprinkle, if you feel like it. If you have friends that like these kind of projects, you're not liking the black back. Well, you know, here's the thing. I just used a notebook that I had handy, which is what I'm always saying, when use whatever you have whenever possible. So I could cover that. I could also go to Dollar Tree and get some new composition notebooks and do the exact same idea on that. Really, the idea here is just for me to show you the concept and then you guys be able to run with it and make whatever you want. This might need a little something right here. I think it does, but I'll figure that out off camera. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have any questions, let me know that in the comments. If you decide to make some of these vintage fabric snippets or any projects using those, I would love to see pictures. You could take some pictures and share them either here or over in the group that I set up for us, which is Dreamy DIY. If you haven't already joined that group, you might want to hop over there and ask to join. We only have a couple of rules. Don't use it to try to sell whatever you might be able to offer. Be nice to each other and don't share other crafters' videos there, please. If you agree to those things, then we'll say, yeah, come on in and you can take a look at all the pictures of the craft projects that other crafters, other people watching DIY Dreaming have made and shared their photos there. So it's really fun. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Do a little this, that's a heart, or a this. If you want to see what I have coming up next, you want to see the completed project. Thank you so much for everyone who gave me stars. I apologize I didn't see that. Thanks, Linda. You're so sweet. Take 2 seconds to check and see if you've liked and followed DIY Dreaming. And I think that's all. Alrighty, I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. I have a very strong feeling that I'm going to be making vintage fabric snippets for the rest of the day. It's really fun. Maybe almost as much fun as making the pulled string burlap flowers that we like to do here too. Okay, see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.